Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant. I am going to go and sack some technical help in a moment. But before I do that, hello and welcome to episode number 73. Aaron, we're getting closer to the 100. If anyone ever asks what makes a good podcast, consistency. 73 weeks running. That's not a bad achievement. So it is the 11th of March of 2024. Good morning to all of our people tuning in live. If you're here and listening in or watching, please stick your comments in the comments throughout the show. We've got some great topics today. So good morning to Dave and good morning to Natasha here already, bright and early. That's what we like to see. So, as always, though, joined with me today is my co-host, Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you and how was your weekend?
I'm fabulous. I wonder why I'm saying the word fab a lot and talking about being fabidustic. I would do the whole joke about what do you call it again? What's its name? Thunderbirds. But yeah, I felt like that didn't really hit home. But yeah, no, I'm really excited. We were talking off air, weren't we? It's been a nice, relaxing weekend, which is what we need, ready for the madness that's going to issue next week, this week, should we say?
This week, it's going to be brilliant. I'm so excited.
I mean, you can't see it, but over here now is a pile of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 boxes ready to go to Fab. So yeah, we're getting there. We're ready.
Are you getting the train?
No, I'm driving, thankfully.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, even more fun than normal for you. Have you got your own carriage?
Own carriage, exactly. Yeah. No, but yeah, really, really excited for it. It's going to be good. What about your weekend, Johann? You had a good one and enjoy it?
Chilled weekend. I spent my Saturday watching the F1 and the rugby, which was, don't tell Claire this, but good results all round.
Well,
Scotland lost, England won. I am quite happy. To be fair, this is the only weekend I've been overly happy with the England performance in rugby. So, yeah, we'll take it where we can. And then Claire was out yesterday afternoon and evening at a gig in Glasgow. So I spent my time playing with Xenon Connect, which is a data analytic tool for your bookkeeping, health scores and stuff. So Andy Wainwright absolutely raves about it. So it's like, I'm not having this. I'm not having him liking a tool that I don't see the value of or have not looked at properly. So I was getting a bit of FOMO, so I had to play with that. So yeah, all good. Absolutely brilliant. So let's just go back into our comments. Who have we got here today? So Kirsty's here. Good morning. Good morning to Susanna. Good morning to Paul. And Kirsty needs to leave early, heading to Westminster Abbey for a Commonwealth service. Very nice.
Nice.
Brilliant. Okay, so got a lot of topics. And news to get through, people. So let's do this. First topic, there was a budget. It happened. Not a lot was said. Yeah. Basically, we're not going to cover the budget because the guys at Accounting Web did a bloody fantastic job on this. I don't think I've ever seen them kick out so many articles in such a short period of time. So if you want to see the budget and the insights, pop over to Accounting Web. There's loads of articles. And there's also a podcast spring budget special just been released as well from Accounting Web. So they are your people of data and news for that. Cool. So that's the first topic done. On fire here. Anything you want to add about the budget, Aaron?
I mean, yeah, you're right. There wasn't too much to talk about from our point of view, was there? There's some nice features, some nice bits that we can talk about for clients. That creative industry bit could be exciting for certain client members, potentially. We've already, we mentioned off air that the VAT was a bit of a damp squid, wasn't it? When the fact that it was just a little increase, not a decrease or a huge increase. So it's like, well, why bother really? So yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? We were always expecting a not so wow one, weren't we, with it being election year and everything else. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes through. But yeah, it was painful to watch, if I'm honest, because I was sat there going, oh well, it was a really no, and no, not really that much, too much to worry about. So we'll see. I think a lot of it is going to come through in the wash, isn't it? See what happens with some of the announcements when it comes through.
Yeah, definitely. So topic of the week, Fab. It's happening Wednesday, Thursday this week in Birmingham. I'm so looking forward to this. We are going to be back podcasting both days. If you would like to join us and have a 15-20 minute podcast session just of you with one of us or both of us, depending on what we're doing at the time, you will be able to book a session with us via a Calendly link, which I believe Aaron is currently putting into the comments once he finds it. So basically, all you do is you go onto our Calendly link and you can book your session with us, and we will do a podcast pit stop with you, where we will ask you the same questions we're asking everyone else. Some of them will be about Fab and why you're there and what you're looking forward to and what your highlights have been. And the other side of it will be about you, your practice, why you got into the industry, what you love about the industry. That will then be professionally edited and created into a 15-20 minute podcast, and one episode a week will be released as we go forward in time. You can then use that podcast / video for any of your social medias, any of your websites, etc. So people get to know about you, basically. Completely free of charge service, and we're just there to try and promote a great event and to promote great people in the industry. Aaron, I think you've broken the comments. I don't know what you've done there, but that is not right.
That's not what I expected, but never mind.
A post will follow. Let's do that. But yeah, like, it's going to be a 2-day event. They've got some fantastic speakers. They've got meet the speaker sections. So not only is our speakers going to be there to speak, but they've got to do like a meet the speaker session afterwards or later in the day. So you get to meet them and ask them questions on a one-to-one basis. So yeah, it's going to be a great day. I'm going to be in the meet the speaker tent twice, I think. Aaron, you and I are both there for meet the podcaster. So people can come and ask us questions about setting up a podcast and how we do it and stuff. Be warned, my only tip is be consistent. Mainly because I know who's sat next to us in that podcast tent and they don't do consistency. So that'd be great. And then meet the social network star. So come and talk to us about how we've built our social network followings and channels. And then I'm sitting, I think it's day 2, on a panel with Charlie from QuickBooks Labs and Apron, talking about the revolution of document capture, what's wrong with it and what needs fixing with it.
And how mostly they've already done that.
So watch this space tomorrow, everybody. There's a huge announcement coming from Apron. So there's a big announcement coming from Apron tomorrow. Little early insight there for you. I think everyone knows probably what's going to be, but they're making a big announcement tomorrow, so keep an eye on social medias. You may have noticed some people have been got new job roles on LinkedIn of design. I can't remember the title. Oh, what's my new job title? Hang on. Design partner.
That was it. Design partner.
Yeah. So there's a few people that have been designated as design partners, including myself, who have been helping to build a new feature in Apron since summer last year, and big announcements on all of that coming tomorrow. So watch your social medias and make sure you get over and speak to them on Wednesday and Thursday about that. So that will be good. What are you looking forward to, Aaron? Fab.
Honestly, it's just the whole the vibe of it all. Have you had a chance to look at the map yet? I mean, even the map looks really interesting. So if you've not had a chance, definitely go and have a look. I'm struggling to find where the map actually is. I don't think it's on their website. I think it was just on social media posts from
I don't think it was on our social media posts. We've shared the map. rightly or wrongly. I don't know if we were meant to share that, but we shared the map. Yeah, it's quite a cool layout. Interesting.
That circle in the middle, like the main stage is a circle.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, we'll see how the speakers adapt to it and how they engage with it. But in theory,
yeah,
that
it's very
quite exciting.
Taylor Swift Westlife in the middle of an arena type. And turn around and talk to everybody, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the whole event.
I went to see Ed Sheeran, who did the whole circle one in the middle. But what he had as a bit of a gimmick was he had a revolving like treadmill that went all the way around. So I wonder if they I don't think they have, but I wonder if they've gone that far.
If you're a speaker on the main stage and you keep turning around to talk to everyone, how many people do we think will collapse from being dizzy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe they've gone for the not so they've not just got a whole conveyor belt, they've just got multiple different treadmills. So you just go on one treadmill, go on to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one.
Maybe.
We'll see what that. But I like that whole, I mean, it's different, right? And that's what the industry needs. It needs a bit of a shot in the arm. Let's try something a bit different. Let's try something a bit not been done before. And hats off to them. They could have just redone, because we knew about NEC, what was it, 2 years ago? Year and a half, wasn't it? That we were at the Coventry. And they told us that, next year or next time they do this is going to be an NEC and everything else. Our assumption was it was, a year from now, but it was 18 months from now. It's fine. But the fact that they haven't just gone, right, let's just take what happened in Coventry, and the year before it was Coventry again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's take what there, but let's create a whole new thing. Hats off to it. I think, it's definitely different. Like there's some really good aspects to it. The social media tent, for example, sounds like a cool idea. We're not there yet. We don't know what it's like, but the concept of it sounds cool. And yeah, I'm really, really excited just for something different, right? Something not been done before, something a bit exciting. So yeah, be good.
And we've been critical, haven't we, of all of the events happening very close together this year.
Yeah.
But if that means that the benefit to all of us is that actually every single event's been forced to create its own personal identity and personality, then that's good. Like if you like to relive your IB for days, then digital accountancy shows for you. If you prefer more of the festival side of things, then great, go to Fab. If you like the mass numbers and the huge announcements and all of the convenience of everyone being in one place, Accountex is right for you. Or go to them all.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing, right? They're all different now. They're not because the worst thing they could have done is gone, right, Accountex is, it's still the golden child, right? That's still the one that's the big draw. If they'd have just gone, let's just recreate Accountex, but in a different area, Birmingham, for example, that's where it kind of maybe struggled last time. But this time round, hats off to him. So it should be a really, really exciting event. So yeah, and we've upped our game in terms of gear as well. So we've got a more structured and streamlined way of being able to produce our content. Potentially, and I'm not promising anything, but potentially for an option for live content as well. So keep an eye out if you've got that FOMO and you do want to have a see what's going there. And of course, it'll be the first of 2024 that we're going to be able to do our our walk, our grid walk. So we're going to have the opportunity to go on that. And I've missed doing them, so that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Good morning to Ashley, who's in the comments saying, what a fab week. Why are the events this time of year? Too much competition. Yeah, I think they were a bit more spread out, but Digital Accountancy Show moved from their usual summer slot to an Easter slot for reasons we can only speculate. And how many people are going to all of them? Well, even we're not going to all of them, are we, this year? Like, we're not going to be at Digital Accountancy Show for a few different reasons, but we won't be at all of them. We're known for being at all of these events, apart from ZeroCon, because that doesn't sit with us in our brand.
Right. They turned me down.
No thanks. So it's going to be a great event, Fab. I'm looking forward to thinking if they're going to do it, let's see how well they do it this year, because it can only get better again next year. Like what we've seen with all these events is every year they take another step up in that how good they are. And we will be there with our podcast station, handing out top trump cards for anyone that comes over to see us.
Top trump cards as well are available.
So yeah, Ashley has said, "You guys are not at DAS?" ? See, that proves that we have too many events all in one spot. To be fair, Ashley, it's not as much that it's at the timing. It's basically DAS want to have a unique event where whatever they put on, you won't get anywhere else. Which for us, when we're doing our podcast pit stops, doesn't work. We're not going to spin off a whole new brand just for one event a year. So yeah, we weren't willing to do that. They weren't willing to have us there doing podcast pit stops because it wasn't unique to them. So that's one of the main reasons we aren't there.
And we've already got too many brands to drum up another one just for DAS. So
yeah, we can't just spin off another brand just for DAS. And we're running low on ideas right now. So, but yeah, and he says he's still not on our top trump cards. That's because actually you've not been one of our cool friends. You've got to come down to Brewdog Waterloo, have a pint and a chat for an hour on our Cool Friends podcasts, which we are going to be doing again very soon. So we've got plans in the works for that. So we'll let people know. So yeah, cool. Okay, so fab, great event. We're looking forward to that. And then we get a break before we hit Accountex, which is just going to be phenomenal. Not allowed to say anything much about Accountex and all the things we're doing, but it's going to be incredible. Right. Follow up on last week's news, shall we? Aaron, you made a speculation, which normally gets us sued, to be fair, when you come up with speculations.
It's weird how I didn't get my DMs attacked this week. So, yeah.
Normally when you make a speculation, you get us having to make a formal apology on air, but we don't have to make an apology this time because you were right. During an interview with Accounting Web, Tom Herbert, Xero have confirmed that their AI product is not just theirs. They've not said who, but someone else's large language model, aka AI, is working alongside Xero's AI functionality to deliver JAX when it comes out later this year. Which brings up the question, doesn't it, of security. And because that data is going to go into someone else's AI model, can Xero have feature parity compared to Sage and Intuit, who have built their own and are using their own from scratch? Because in theory, there's things that Xero and that Sage and QuickBooks could do with the data without it leaving their environments, which Xero probably shouldn't be doing, regardless of how secure they tell us that language model is. So yeah, I mean, it was your brainwave, your speculation, Aaron. So what are your thoughts?
I'm not surprised. I think we kind of said that last week, right? The idea that them investing in so much money. I mean, the money that Intuit have spent on their large language model, their Intuit Assist, is just absolutely crazy, isn't it? But
it's been legal fees to get all the blooming what is it, 700 patents that they've secured on this?
Patents, wasn't it? Yeah. And 1,000 alone in just the UK, wasn't it, of employees and yeah. But yeah, like the amount of money that Intuit are putting into this is absolutely crazy. But in fairness, it's a different proposition, right? Yep. For Intuit, it's not just QuickBooks, it's their whole ecosystem. You know, when you think about it, they've got MailChimp, they've got TurboTax, they've got all of those different brands that they're going to use this model for. Then that investment starts to make a lot of sense, doesn't it? It's like, yes, it's a huge investment at the beginning, but it's going to pay dividends for them later down the line with all the add-ons they can have. So it makes sense for them to build it. For Xero, financially, I don't think they've really got that sort of clout to be pushing it there. They could spend that money on better things, right? Like maybe more than just fonts as an update. That could be a nice one, right?
But we like new
Um,
fonts.
but it was always going to be very unlikely that they were going to be able to go head to head and toe to toe with the likes of Intuit at building the new model. And this makes sense, doesn't it? Like in theory, they should be able to get this out sooner than the rest. They should be able to jump the gun, really. You'd think about it. If you know, let you know more than anyone else how difficult this really is. But outside looking in, it's you've got a piece of technology, you got another piece of technology, you just add them together, right? And there you got Jax. Like in theory, that should be the simplicity of it. And in theory, that should be the ability for them to jump the market, get it out there, and go from that. That's not how it's going to be, though, is it? And you've already hit the nail on the head where functionality wise, they're going to have to be really careful about what they open up, what they don't. Their API is not wonderful. So do they have to open up their back end even more? Do they have to give a whole new way in there? It just adds, I think it adds a lot of questions more than it gives answers. But it does definitely, from what we've seen though, furthermore to that conversation, is it is very much aimed at the end user. This isn't an accountant's tool or to help accountants. That seems to be, we were right on that as well. And how much it's going to cost the end user is going to be difficult to know. They're definitely going to charge them, aren't they? That's 100%, especially now there's a third party involved who needs to be paid.
Yep.
How much
AI tools are not cheap to plug into.
No. How much would someone be willing to pay for that? And the only way they can market this, in my opinion, and you know, Tim for hat again, the only way they can market this is an accountant replacement, because they need to figure a way for that end user to spend money, to spend additional money on their thing. I don't understand.
God. He's not going to. This isn't an apology. This is getting cancelled now.
But I don't see how they can market. Right, you're going to pay X amount for your Zero, then you're going to have a bolt on for this AI functionality. I don't know how else they market that other than don't need your accountant. We've got Jax to do it for you. I may be completely wrong about that, but I can't see another clever way for them to go, right, what's the reason to spend the extra money? And if that's the way to spend the extra money is to get rid of your accountant, that's actually quite compelling for the software vendor, right? Like the Zero themselves, that's a really good reason to pay for the upgrade. So what's your thoughts on it? Go for it.
So what was interesting is throughout the whole interview with Tom Herbert and all the article I read was they were talking about taking this all on for a mobile experience.
Yeah.
We all know when softwares talk mobile experiences, they're talking small businesses, because accountants and bookkeepers can't get the functionality and efficiency out of a mobile experience that we can out of a browser experience. So yeah, all their wording, their videos, everything is targeting those small businesses.
And it's right to do it. Like they're the ones who could get the most benefit out of this, right? Like we've said so many times that the barrier to entry at the moment for a small business to get the data they need is huge. In theory, AI could bridge that gap and give small businesses the actual information they need.
Yeah.
But every other approach, Sage and Intuit and QuickBooks is, well, let's empower the accountant. Yes, there'll be some really good fun. Yeah, let's give some functionality to the end user. Let's make it really, really, quote unquote, sexy for them. They make it worthwhile. But let's also make sure that we empower the accountant. Let's give the accountant the tools they need to do an even better job than they're already doing, right? That's what we're being sold as AI for. And maybe we're mugs, right? Maybe we're being taken down the path, and we're going to all sign up for this AI and then suddenly we're not needed anymore, right? Maybe that's the case. But I'm edging my bets to say that actually, no, they see the value in accountants. They see the value in that partnership. So AI is going to help make that, and it's going to be a tool that's going to help bridge that partnership, going to give us more tools to help our clients, give us more opportunities to be, the business advisor we've always wanted to be. That's where I see Copilot and Intuit Assist being. Jax, for me, again, is still actually, no, the accountant's not involved in this. This is about making sure that maybe the accountant's not needed.
what accountant or bookkeeper is going to email Jax or WhatsApp Jax telling it to revise an invoice? Just going to log in and do it yourself, aren't you? Like the only people that are going to get value out of that functionality are people out and about on the job sites and delivering their services. Like, yeah. I mean, Xero also haven't confirmed whether they'll be charging for this or what they'll be charging. I mean, it's Xero. They don't even have a free API, never mind anything else. So it's going to come with a price tag. I'm going to speculate 20 quid a month in line with ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and that'd be 20 quid a month per user, which isn't scalable for accountants and bookkeepers, but it would be for a business owner that just needs it for them because they're the only one in their business that's got access to Xero.
Do Xero charge per user properly at the moment? It's not like an added extra, is it? It's only if they go down expenses and stuff, isn't it?
Expenses, projects and stuff, that's all charged per user. So
I suppose they've got the mechanism then, haven't they?
Yeah. So I'd expect it to go that way. Which also brings us up to Sage Copilot, who have confirmed they will be charging for Sage Copilot, but no pricing has been revealed. But they've been very open from within a week of the announcement saying, yeah, once this is fully launched, it will be a chargeable service. It will be an add-on. Now, whether that's per user, per firm, whatever that looks like, we don't know. But at least they've been transparent.
But speculation there, you'd imagine it's the end user that pays for it, for their extra functionality. So Sage end user do it. Looking at Sage's past record, again, we're just speculating here. I'd imagine the accounting side of thing will be part and parcel of the suite, the ecosystem. I'd be shocked if there was a large charge for that, or if any charge for the accounting side.
Well, I think they were talking the accountants and bookkeeper side that there would be a charge. So,
okay.
Because I don't think Sage is offering Copilot to businesses. It's offering it to accountants and bookkeepers at the moment.
That's a good point, isn't it? Yeah.
All of their material is about how it's going to empower accountants and bookkeepers. Right? So they are using the term of AI is not coming after your jobs, it's coming after your tasks. And they want to help nudge you up the value ladder. So you're doing more high-end work rather than the low-end data entry and processing, which kind of goes back to what I was talking about last autumn of AI is not here to take your jobs. It's here to re-engineer how we spend our time. So, yeah.
And that could work quite well, actually, if they do it on a basis of they do it per ecosystem. Because, for example, I don't use Sage all that much other than auto entry. Auto entry is my preferred, and I think it's the same for you. I think you moved to auto entry from Dex, right? If they gave us an opportunity, to add AI to that functionality, I imagine that's going to be one we'd bite the hands off, right? Like the idea to really streamline the whole data capture, be able to bring all that sort of element in. If that was an added cost, I think that's a well worthwhile investment if it does what they're claiming it can do.
The industry is not opposed to paying for these softwares. Look at Dex, auto entry. Like, you pay a premium for those tools because you know how much it's going to save you in wages and labor, basically. Like, the reason I pay so much for Employment Hero is because I know how much it saves me in recruitment and wages for my payroll team. Like, because I don't need a huge team to deliver the amount of work we do because of all the automation and the power within the tool. So, whereas if you want to use QuickBooks Receipt Capture, HubDoc, or something like that, it's more labor intensive. So you're not paying for the software, but you are paying it in time. And the one thing that goes up quicker than anything else in this world is the minimum wage. So those costs are spiraling. So yeah, I've no objection to paying for AI tools. I just want to make sure it's not a gimmick and it's value for money. Because Intuit Assist, we don't know yet if that's going to be a paid bolt-on, if that's going to just be in. It might be something that small businesses have to pay for, and it comes built into QuickBooks Online Accountant module. We don't know. But as I have said to QuickBooks many a time, much to the disgust of other members in the council, if you have feature parity for your receipt capture with Dext or auto entry, if your tax return and accounts filing software has feature parity to tax calc, whoever else is KPM, etc., I would pay for that, because the value is it's all in one place.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a free offering to us. If I can replace like for like functionality for a similar cost or slightly lower, like, that's fine. So I've no issue with Intuit, Sage, or Xero charging for their tool, but it needs to be proven where I'm going to get my efficiencies from.
Yeah.
And
I think we're both confident that both Sage and Intuit are going to deliver efficiencies for us, the accountant.
Yeah.
The question mark is what, and maybe it's just because it's bad messaging, or maybe it's because they're going to save it to zero con, and then they're going to blow us all away with this Jax for the accountant, or whatever you want to just ask the accountant, or what, maybe they're, maybe there's a whole other sub product that they're yet to release yet. But at this moment in time, it does feel like it is very much a case of us versus them, when they don't want that.
Saying the other day as well, like, they are going to release this to their end users, but they're going to be building it in such a way that if you ask certain questions of Jax as a business owner, it will turn around and say, we think you actually need to speak to your accountant. Here's their contact details, or here's a link to their diary.
Or if you don't have an accountant, here's one to
here's our directory.
Yeah.
Yes. So they are still very much, whilst they will release it to the wider business world, it's still very much with the accountant and stuff in mind. As once you ask a certain question past a certain level of technicality, it will go, you need to speak to someone. Here's your accountant, because we know who your accountant is, or here's a directory because it doesn't look like you've got an accountant. So, which I thought was quite cool as well. I quite like that approach as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. When do you think we're going to realistically see and get our hands on these? So that's the big question, isn't it? And we're privy to stuff from the Intuit world that,
yeah,
we kind of have an expectation there. We're not allowed to disclose it, but we have an expectation of when it is. But what about the others? Do you think?
I think Sage won't be behind. I think this year, by the end of this year, we'll start seeing Sage, because my understanding is Sage are already beta testing. Whether it's in the UK or in the US is a different matter, but they are already beta testing. QuickBooks Intuit Assist is already in beta testing in America, and they are already working on the results of that beta testing in America and where they can bring it into place in the UK. Jax, they reckon that beta will be available by the end of 2024. Now, in what country, they don't say. To what level of functionality, they don't say. But every day that thing isn't in beta testing is a day further behind Sage and QuickBooks, who have been, Intuit's been in beta testing since autumn last year. I think Sage Copilot was in beta testing from the start of this year, maybe the end of last year, from what I've seen and heard. So they've got a big advantage here time-wise. And they've also got the bigger teams and the bigger resources to get this built quicker and tested quicker and refined quicker. So
do you believe, though, that the Xero Jax, if that goes into beta testing, they can't go to the accountants and ask them to ask their clients to do it, right? Like,
the way they're talking at the moment.
Yeah. So how are they going to roll out a beta test for that? Maybe I'm being naive about it, but for me, when you're beta testing a new FMS solution, going to the accountant's actually a clever way of doing it. Even if it's a client, we've done it loads of times, right? That we've been told, look, this isn't for you account, this is for the end user. But what's your thoughts on it? And do you have any clients that you think could be, benefit testing this out for us, right? It's a great way of getting that feedback. It just makes it so much easier. You go to one source of truth, they can find you a load of, MTD all over again, right?
Yeah.
The easiest way to roll out an MTD pilot is going to be go straight to the vendors, get the vendors to go find the people who write, and it rolls on from there. For Jax, they've got to go to their end consumers. That's going to be a difficult one, isn't it? I mean,
you have to have a qualification process, and like, how do I qualify that person as a good candidate for a beta tester?
Unless you just go and open beta from day one, but then you just get like, you don't get the feedback you need from that, right? Like you're asking for problems. And I would imagine that this is the sort of thing you can't just go out to beta to test. It just seems like it's too much of a risk to just open beta it, right? Like that's open for problems.
You need it to be controlled.
Yeah,
exactly. You need the people that are on that beta to be proactive and dealing and testing it properly, and not just seeing it as a status symbol of I'm on the beta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I think that's the AI world put to rights. It's going to be one to watch this year. I'm curious as to what Sage bring to Accountex and Fab for that matter. Same with Xero and same with QuickBooks about AI and the functionalities and stuff. I think it's going to be a really interesting year ahead watching that, because AI it's going to be the next OCR technology hitting like OCR was revolutionary for this industry, and AI is going to be that next wave of revolution. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
I mean, some would say bigger, but yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's got far more potential, wider reach and stuff. So just quickly go into the comments. Good morning to Helen and good morning to Sue, who have joined us. Kirsty, you've asked if there'll be a cost to Intuit Assist. We've just discussed that. We don't think there is, but we won't know until we know. Even if we did know, we wouldn't be allowed to tell you because it would be under disclosures. And Dave says, how do I sign up for the certification program for Client Engager? You don't at the moment. It's still in development. So everything you need, to get on with the product is in the help section. So the certification is really just a rehash of that and an excuse to refilm everything. But we're holding off filming everything until time tracking is released, because that's going to have a big user interface update. So we don't want to film it all and then have to refilm it a matter of weeks later. Oh, okay. Acquisition news. Someone's been spending pennies, Aaron. Well, pounds, I'm sure. I'm sure it didn't go for cheap.
Good point.
But the owner of Coconut, which is that bookkeeping software that was really big before MTD got shelved, and then struggled, and then because they were going to have a bank and all sorts, weren't they?
That was exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah, that all got reimagined. And they also own GoSimple Tax, which is originally a tax filing software for the end user to do their own tax returns, rather than having to fight the system that was HMRC's website. They have made an acquisition. So Coconut and GoSimple Tax is now joined by MyPayYE. Now, MyPayYE, my understanding is they do about 100,000 payslips. They really are targeted more to the business owners directly, rather than through accountants and bookkeepers. But so was Coconut and so was GoSimple Tax, and they seem to be making a big pivot to attract accountants and bookkeepers onto their systems. So yeah, they've now got a payroll product, Aaron. This is becoming a bit of a suite. That they've also said in their announcement that they are they're aware they're going to need to rebrand it all, because they've now got this suite, and they are keen to learn from mistakes that we've seen in the industry recently, and make sure there's plenty of prior communication with accountants and bookkeepers before any changes happen. So I can't imagine who they're making a dig at there, but it's interesting that we're getting this new player around the table. Like, you've got Sage, you've got Xero, you've got QuickBooks, you've got Bright, you've got CCH, we will come on to later, you've got Walters Clore, you've got all of these providers that are, for the most part, long established in their industry, and trying to put together these suites of products. And then you've got these new guys on the block who are buying softwares that weren't necessarily targeted at accountants and bookkeepers immediately, but they're now trying to take it and spin it to target us. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Have we got a new challenger? Is this going to cause ruffled feathers?
I feel like this is a play for a different type of audience, isn't it? A different type of client, different type of business. Your typical QuickBooks Sage Zero, that's for people who, for businesses who, for the most part, want to work hand in hand with an accountant and want to work with them. And, yes, you could do it by yourself and do self-assessment and everything else with it. And there are some great tools, but realistically, most of the fancy tools and everything else is designed to work hand in hand with an accountant. My gut feeling, if you look at what Coconut was and what it's become, I feel like this is a play for self-service. And I'm all up for this, by the way. I think this is a great opportunity to have a TurboTax-esque solution. So TurboTax in the US is huge. Like the numbers are staggering, aren't they? How many people do their own tax returns by themselves just using TurboTax just to get it through? That's their license to print money, right? For Intuit.
Yes.
This feels like a opportunity to have a self-service solution, FMS solution, whatever you want to call it now, for the smallest of small businesses, probably aiming for the MTD market. Like that's what they're probably going to aim for. If you kind of see what Coconut originally was around and looked at and what it was going to be brilliant for, then if they can get this right, they could have a lovely little solution. You know, really simplistic for recording your transactions as a small business owner. Really simple way of filing your tax return, which none of the other solutions really give you as the end user, right? Yes, we can do it as accountants, but not as the end user. And now, my payee just adds on the opportunity for them to pay their employees simply. And you've already said it, right? Like it's designed really for the end user to pay their employees. So I think this is an interesting little play. What I'd love to see is if they are going to, lean on accountants and everything. I personally see this as an opportunity for not necessarily our type of accounting firm, but there are accounting firms out there, who look after a lot of clients, like thousands and thousands of clients, but very low value. This could be where this is going to be really beneficial, right? You're the accountant, maybe recharge this software. That could be interesting because it's pretty much the client will be able to do all of it themselves, but they have the opportunity to talk to an accountant at certain points. I see that as the proposition for this solution, this ecosystem. Do the rest have to be worried? I don't know. Maybe this is ultimately going into what we've just said is trying to do, right? That self-service, that self element. Maybe that's what maybe they're the ones who should be worried more than anyone else, because I feel like this is a whole different segment that necessarily we don't really get too much involved in as accountants, because well, our clients don't, or that segment aren't interested in accountants, right? They don't rightly or wrongly, whatever the reasons are, but they don't have an accountant at this point in time. They're doing their own self-assessment. If this can help them, I think that could be quite powerful. And actually, this does more than QuickBooks and Xero and Sage do not now, because it's their whole solution in one. It's not having to grab the data, the problem we've got at the moment is the software only takes you so far with most of them, right? And then you kind of got to stop. This, if they get this right, this could be that one solution where any small business who wants to go by themselves has all the tools they need for one subscription. And I think that's really powerful. And I generally think that's a great play. I can't imagine seeing them properly at Accountex or Fab or anything like that, really.
You say that, I think they are.
But what they're going to bring to the table, like, I feel like, other than that smaller segment of the accountants who want to provide self-service solutions with a bit of a accountant add-on, I feel like they're better off going to the small business show. Like, that's where they would be better equipped to go, right? Like, that's their target market, in my opinion.
I stand corrected. They're not on the partners list. I thought they were.
But it makes sense. At this point, they don't really have much to offer to accountants, right? And I don't think they need to.
Agree.
Yeah.
I suppose from an accountant's point of view, the angle to look at here would be there's a whole audience of small businesses that, when done right, can be quite profitable when done on scale. People like Crunch have proven that to the industry many a time. If you can charge cheap, scale it up, service might be shocking, quality of the work might be shocking, but in theory, it can be done. Can it be done better? Yeah, most probably could be. But if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper and you're thinking, right, like, where am I going to get an audience for my services? Actually, being partnered with Coconut and Go Simple Tax and My PayYE, maybe that's a fairly untapped audience.
Mm-hmm.
Low competition. Yeah, like,
I guess where they could, I mean, could they build this? There's potential for this. So one of our most popular services, especially around January, is we offer what we call an MOT. So our idea is that if you're on QuickBooks, because there's no point in doing it for anything else, if you're on QuickBooks and you're about to submit your own tax return, then let us as Bofix go in there and we check it before you press submit.
yeah,
a low cost fee, but it's the idea of just giving them that confidence, right? They've done
they've
things
done
right.
the legwork. We can go in and spend half an hour,
Yeah,
charge
and
150 quid.
Exactly. And we do a little video just like it is here, and we just go through them and we do a little checklist and we say what they've done right, what they've done wrong. Now, Coconut, in theory, they could take that to the next level, because at the moment there's a few hoops to jump through. We've got to get access to it. Then, there's everything else. You could actually get it all the way to send to my accountant to approve. Accountant approves. They could take it that far, that way, and have that as a solution. So for self-service clients, that could be actually quite powerful, right? If they could get signed in and get it all up.
This business model is not that harebrainer idea. This is exactly how TurboTax works in the US. In the US, you go to TurboTax to do your tax return. You can either do it yourself and submit it, or you can do it yourself and get a TurboTax expert to review it. Or for even more money, you can give them all the documentation, they do it, and present the information back to you. But it's not that crazy an idea. Like, it could be done.
Yeah, but we've got barriers of entry, right? Like, that's always been to do it scalable, to do it at unless you're Crunch and build your own from scratch. And Mizuma's done the same, haven't they? That's what they've done really well. They've smashed it, right? They built their own, and then they get to control the whole journey. But for practices like ourselves, or in our sort of remit, we haven't got those funds to do that. We'd love to be able to, but we haven't got the funds to do it. And we keep giving options like, Twinfield is popping up in here because it's on the thing. So the CCH own one, and like there's those ones, but it's never enough. There's always compromise to bring them in. But if Coconut can get that right, and if they just stick to what they had in that first initial offering from that bank, I generally think they've got an opportunity here to be, have a sizable market that is largely untapped, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, I think it's not a daft idea. I think it's been proven in most countries that it could work as a business model. So if Coconut's the one that, you'd have thought there's other softwares out there that could have done this a long time ago and proven the concept. But if Coconut is going to be able to do it, then good on them. So,
because even Zero's, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't have a solution, do they, to be able to go in and do it? The only one that really gives the opportunity for the end user to do it is Free Agent, right? Like, they're the only one that has that end-to-end solution that goes through from there.
So Coconut, I suppose, is technically in line with a Free Agent as far as competitors are concerned.
Because they do payroll as well, right?
Yeah. Would you want to be up against a software solution that's backed by RBS, though? I know who
give it away for free.
Yeah, I know whose pockets are deeper.
Yeah.
Okay. No, fair enough. Final announcement of the week, which is good timing as we're running into the final 10 minutes of today's show. Walters Colour have made an announcement that they are launching CCH iFirm. So I think this is Walters Colour's stake in the ground. They're taking CCH and they are going to be pushing it out for this all-in-one solution, like we are seeing from Bright Group, Sage, QuickBooks, everyone basically. So iFirm's first module they're going to launch is an AML tool, and they're going to be bolting on the ability to file accounts, tax returns, etc. from here as well. So yeah, thoughts on this? I mean, Walters Colour, it's not a name you expect to see trying to provide an offering to one person accounting and bookkeeping firms, but they have made it very clear that they are trying to provide a solution for when you from startup to one of the big four. So
yeah, I mean, I've used CCH in the past. They were one of the first to get their heads around back in the day when IXBRL tagging and all that lot was a big thing, and pushing through from there. So they got a real good adoption, especially kind of bigger firms. I've just had a look at CCH iFirm on the Tinterwebs, and they're already out in US and Canada.
Yep.
And I don't think this is what we thought it was. My first reaction to this was I saw it as a, like you've already said, an AML solution, everything else. This is a full track workflows, job status, and
it's full practice management over there.
Yeah, push.
Yeah.
Surely, though, if they're going to bring it here, they're going to bring all that functionality with it.
They are building it gradually over here, yes.
Okay.
So this is that the AML module will be the first part they build for and launch for the practice management solution that iFirm is going to be. But this is literally going to contend with QuickBooks, who have got that from practice management right through to accounts filing journey. This is Walters Colour's attempt to compete with that.
But Twinfields has already kind of gone by the wayside, right? Like, I don't believe it's still working, or if it is, it's very quiet, aren't they, with Twinfields?
Yeah.
Their FMS bookkeeping solution. So, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't already have a practice management solution already there. I know from past experience using it, we would never have used it in the firm we were at because they built their own practice management. They were big enough to build their own and have their own CRM solution. So, yeah, I mean, what I was hoping this was going to go for is more the company secretarial side of things. When I first read it, and again, I skim read it because it was today, I was hoping they were going to be pushing down the company's house, a company secretarial work, because let's be honest, there's still work to be made there. That's a pain point that we've still not solved as accountants. Especially with the changes that have just happened in March, like delivering a company secretarial work, it's really, really, really tricky to do it at a reasonable price. I know there are some good solutions.
It's even more expensive come May.
Yeah, and I know you promote a good solution and a solid solution, but it's still not perfect, right? You're still having to do a few workarounds here and a few workarounds there to get it to what you need it to be.
There'd be efficiency to have with Inform Direct, which we use, if it had APIs to link to practice management tools and stuff, which they don't. So yeah, I'd still say it's probably the most efficient and painless way of doing company housework at the moment. But all they need really to corner that market is the ability to have an API.
Yeah, and practice management should be where company secretary really sits, right? Because that's where you've got your core client data. That's where you've got the opportunities to have efficiencies, right? Like, you've got a client portal. So for me, that's where realistically, and I was hoping that's what this was. Looking at it now, the fact that they're coming along with a practice management solution, I mean, just looking at it, it looks awful if this is what they're bringing from the US. I'll be completely frank with it. It looks, but CCH was never, CCH was never a pretty or a sexy UI. That's never been. They've always been function over form, right? That's always been their element of it. So, can they get themselves, because they want to aim for your one person brand? If I was a one person just starting up, would I go CCH? I don't think I would. Sage and QuickBooks offer such a better opportunity for you, don't they?
Yeah. My other concern for them here is they're trying to digitalize and cloud what is ultimately a desktop solution. And we have seen that doesn't work. Like
Bright Tax, yeah.
Yeah, like look at Bright. Like Bright Payroll. Like it's been a year since that got released and pulled back off the market because it wasn't. I mean, are we going to see a release in the next 3 weeks of Bright Payroll again?
Do we care now? Probably not.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah,
But
the market's moved on, right? Like,
but they need to catch up with the market, otherwise payroll is going to be dead to them soon. So, like, I would expect an announcement from Bright Payroll in the coming weeks to say we are now ready for cloud-based payroll for April onwards. Because if they don't announce and launch a product now,
yeah,
it's not going to be there for another year, because we all know you don't migrate payroll softwares unless you absolutely have to mid-year, mid-payroll year. It just doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know there are challenges of converting desktop to cloud. Has Wolters Kluwer fallen into that trap?
Because ultimately, I suppose for their target audience, they don't need cloud really, because their target is the top 4, and
they're not targeting the end user to be be accessing it themselves either. Like whereas QuickBooks Zero, Sage and stuff, Free Agent, they've all got that mobile experience, that slimmed down UI for the end user to be able to raise invoices and stuff. I don't think Wolters Kluwer are looking at that.
No, they don't need to. Yeah, it
stops at the accountant and bookkeeper. We're not interested in the layer beneath that.
Yeah, because their target audience realistically have server farms like that, like PwC, for example. You can have a quote unquote cloud experience because you log into your experience anywhere in the world because you're using VPNs to get in there and do all that sort of stuff. They've got the technology to do that, right? They don't need, and they will never need, to have a cloud-based functionality realistically, because any device can replicate it in their world. For someone like ourselves, though, we can't replicate that, not to a standard that's going to be worthwhile, because we just don't have that resource to invest to do it properly. That's why cloud-based solutions are so powerful for us, because yes, we may not have may not have feature parity, but it's the convenience that we take over each and every time, isn't it? So yeah, I think they'll struggle. Like, look at the new ones that have come to the market lately. I forget what the name of it was, but there was that one that was just come through. Was it? I don't want to say it without. I want to say firm check, but I don't think that's right.
Firm check AML,
yeah. There's other ones like that come through. Yeah, it's going to be a crowded, difficult market for them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah,
because we're getting onto a year of firm check being in the UK now. So I'd be interested to see how they're getting on.
Yeah, exactly.
Wise, because I think their pricing model and their charges were a bit flawed. But yeah, it would be interesting to know how they are getting on in the UK at the moment.
But again,
they're at Fab. We can probably go and pin them down and get some answers.
We can, but again, like, where that really should sit is with your practice management solution, right? So unless they've got those relationships, and
you need that relation, like Zama and Client Engager. Like Client Engager doesn't want to redo AML, so partnering with someone like Zama means that we can offer a very good in-product journey, and what we're about to offer from this summer onwards is even more built in, powered by Zama. Like, it's going to be fantastic. But yeah, Firm Check are going to have their work cut out to get into those practice management tools.
Yeah, because you can't have it as its own standalone product. It just won't work. Like,
and Zama will tell you that their biggest source of new users comes from practice management tools.
Yeah, exactly.
That they integrate into. So cool. Okay, well, there we go, ladies and gents. That's all the news for the week and our views and opinions. We will be seeing a lot of you, hopefully, on Wednesday and Thursday. If you've not got tickets, they're free. make sure you come along and say hello. Even if you can only come on the Wednesday or the Thursday, it's a really worthwhile just to get out of the office, see what's going on in the industry, and just work out, what's the latest tools and trends. It's really important. And don't forget, when you come over and say hello to us at the podcast booth, you could get some Top Trump cards with all of our Ask the Accountant Cool Friend cards.
We've got new and exclusive ones. So
yeah, cool. Okay, ladies and gents, lovely to chat to you as per usual on a Monday morning. Have a wonderful week. Hopefully we'll see some of you in the Wednesday and Thursday at Fab. Aaron, have you got anything else coming up this week apart from that?
Just Fab. Yeah. My brain is in overdrive at the moment of making sure that we get all the gear there, get it all set up nicely, get ready, and then we can hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We don't want any technical hiccups. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm fantastic about it.
That's a Fab link. Mine was better.
Yeah, yours was. I don't think I'm really cut out for puns.
No, you're not. Or segues or anything else for that matter.
I pulled a few segues off. Not as good as you, but yeah, I pulled a few off. But yeah, puns are not my thing, I don't think.
Right. Well, hopefully everybody has a fabulous week, and we will catch you all this time next week if we don't see you at Fab in Birmingham. Thank you very much, everyone.
Time.
God. Just run the credits.
I tried.